satisfied Susan.
So I'm going to start with an overview of just the top floor of the house. This is the floor that is like the studio apartment area, I guess you could say. The dolls that are in here aren't all the dolls that live here. Basically how I store my dolls is I keep 10 dolls in the house and then the rest of the dolls in a bookshelf, which I can show you at the end of the video. They're just all sitting in rows on the shelf, just on display so the house isn't super crowded and you can actually see the furniture that's in it. So the dolls that are in here aren't all the dolls that live in here. But this is the top floor, and then down below, if I can move this, this is the bottom floor, which is actually the middle floor of the house, and then this is just set up as a bedroom. And then if you look down here, I just have all their clothes in these plastic shoeboxes, which is what I've always had them in if you've watched my other dollhouse tours, and I just have a label on each of them, like I have one for pajamas, one for jackets and coats. It's not super fancy, and they're just in bins, and it works well, so that's how I do it. I guess before I get into the tour, I will show you where I keep the other dolls. So I have 10 dolls on the top of this shelf, so these are 10 of my 18-inch dolls that aren't in the house, and then the other 10 of them are on this shelf. And then at the bottom, sadly because of how this shelf is, the littler dolls can't sit up, but I have my Biddy twins, my Biddy baby, and all of these Hearts for Hearts dolls. I don't like use those dolls that often, but I do like to have them, so I keep them down there instead of putting them in a box or something. So this top room of the house is Marlee and Maya's apartment. Marlee is this doll. She is a Marie Grace doll that is customized, and then Maya is the doll in the pink, and she's a Leah doll with a dyed wig. So this is their apartment. I just wanted to show you them in it so you can see kind of the size of it. And now I'm going to take them out and give you a tour of the room. One thing I also did want to mention is that these little lights up here are actually fairy lights that go around each of the rooms, but I don't have them plugged in right now because I need to get a different extension cord to use with the plug that's on this side of the room now that I've moved the dollhouse back over. So they're not on right now, and the light in the house is kind of yellow toned because of the lights that I do have on in my room to make you be able to see what's going on in this video. So the colors are a little bit yellow toned and we're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so starting over here, I'm not going to go super in detail with everything because as you can see, there's definitely a lot of little tiny details that I have, especially because all of the furniture is consolidated into 2 floors instead of all 3. There's a lot of little things going on. So I'll just do kind of a brief overview and talk about the bigger items. So this half of the room is the kitchen, and this kitchen I actually made. I used a pattern from a website, and I'll link it down below if I remember. It's made out of foam core, like foam board that you use for presentations, and then I painted it that green color, and I used some scrapbook paper, or like a printable scrapbook paper that I got from the internet to do this butcher block kind of style countertop. This chair is just one I got from an antique sale, and then the other chair came from the dollar store. It was like a plant stand, and then my dad and I spray painted both of them gold so they match well enough at least. They just have a lot of little random things around their apartment. So I have a lot of these little calico critters and these little Disney guys from the blind bags up there. A lot of the little accessories in this house either came from thrift stores or the dollar store, or just were random things that my grandma gave to me that she got at yard sales or whatever. So I didn't spend a whole lot of money on doll furniture, and most of it is just kind of off-brand stuff, but I just have been collecting for a long time. I'm 19, so I've had the dolls since I was 4, I think was when I got my first doll, so I've been collecting for a very long time, and that's how I have all these little items for them. Moving over onto this wall, I have several windows in the house, and I just made them all by printing off a picture, and then I made the curtains out of scrap fabric and the windowsill out of cardboard and stuff. The curtain rod is just like a bamboo skewer. This piano, along with a lot of these instruments, came from an Our Generation set from Target that I got on sale. It's like the school band play set. And then this stool actually goes with a vanity that's downstairs, which is really old and retired from American Girl. Oh yeah, one other thing, a lot of the little crocheted items like these chair covers and this rug that's down here, my grandma actually made those for me over the past I don't know how many years, so they're just out of different kinds of yarn that she had as scraps from her crocheting projects. This ukulele is also from our generation, and then I forgot to mention before, but the floors in the house are actually just painted white, but then I put this contact paper over top of them, and it's removable if I ever want to take it off. There's kind of a seam in the middle right here, which was not the best planning on my part, but that's okay. So that is basically this half of the room. They just have some little books. These are mini American Girl books, and then I made the Percy Jackson ones. There's nothing inside them, they're just blank. But the little dishes are from American Girl. A long time ago they were on clearance. A lot of things on the walls are just printed off from Pinterest or from artists that I like on Instagram. They were just little drawings that I printed a long time ago, so that's what's going on in here. Moving on to this half of the room, sorry that there's going to be some shadows here because the light is actually behind me now, but this bed is a retired bed from American Girl. It's a trundle bed, so that's kind of how I say, like, it's because it's not a double bed, they couldn't both sleep in it, and you can't actually pull out the trundle because this dresser's there, but that's how I kind of get away with saying that there's 2 dolls in this room that can sleep here. I don't know. But this bed, anyway, is retired from American Girl, and I bought it from one of my friends. And then all of the little stuffed animals on it, minus Meatloaf, who is an American Girl pet that's retired, all of the little stuffed animals on it are just from random places, and the bedding is actually a pillowcase that matches my bedspread. It's the pillowcase that goes with my bedspread. And the little blankets are just scrap pieces of fabric or little quilts and baby blankets that we had around the house. So I just like to have a lot of things on their bed because I think having things against the back of it makes it look more like a couch during the day and not just like a bedroom, and makes it look less out of place with the kitchen being on the other side of the room. So then there's another little window up here. This one has a rainbow. This is a map of Disneyland. There's a lot of little Disney accents in this room because I'm a big Disney fan, and since Marlee is like the doll that's supposed to look like me, even though her personality is a little bit different than mine, she does have like the same interest as I am, like art and Disney mainly. So that's what I have going on in here. This little dresser is actually a jewelry box that I got from Michael's, and I just spray painted the drawers yellow and then the rest of it blue. So there's just random little trinkets in there. It doesn't actually have clothes in it because I keep all the clothes down below. But this typewriter is from our generation. A lot of these little candles and stuff are just from like the dollar store, and the little jars are from the dollar store. This pin board back here is from the dollar store, but I painted it, and I put all of these Disney pins on it that are ones that I don't have on my own pin board because they're either like fake Disney pins or ones that I want to trade or whatever. So that's Marlee's own little Disney pin board over here. And then at the end of the bed, I know they technically like couldn't walk over. If this was a real apartment, you couldn't walk over and get to this because the shelf ends here, but I like to have this shelf here. So this is all of their art supplies, and then there's some random little Disney guys in there too, and there's some colored pencils on top. This is where I have 2 backpacks and then some random sunglasses and just little things like that. So this is actually the remote for the lights that aren't plugged in right now. And then this here is the little school organizer from the classroom playset from our generation. Someday when I have my own house, like after college and everything, I want to have a second dollhouse and have one of the rooms in it be a classroom. So I just store all of my doll classroom stuff in that little organizer, so it's all in one place and doesn't get mixed up or anything with the other random items that I have, so that when I can do that someday, it's all in here and in one place. Down here I just have a clock, I have some music items, so I have Melody's radio, and then this little record player from our generation. So that's their little music corner. And I think that's pretty much it for this room. I'll give you a brief overview and then we'll move down to the next floor. I really like how colorful everything is in here and bright, and I love having this room on top because it gets the best light, and since it's my favorite room in the house, I think that is good because, I don't know, it's like eye level and I like being able to look at it. Okay, so this bottom floor is going to be a little bit harder to do the tour of because it is a little bit darker down here since there's the shadow from the floor above. But this room is Marlee's sister's rooms. So Marlee's sister's room, sorry. So Marlee has 2 sisters. Their names are Eden and Lila, and I'll introduce them to you in a second. They're the 2 that are in the back that you can't see very well. So this is their bedroom, and they just share it, and it has a lot of things in it that are kind of like their interests, and I think it coordinates really well with the room above too, so that maybe if this was like a 2-bedroom apartment or something, like the interior decorating style would go together. That's kind of what I was thinking when I put it together anyway. So here are the 2 dolls that live in this room. The doll in the yellow is Eden, and she is a Joss doll from American Girl, who's the Girl of the Year this year, 2020. And then the side of the room that's by her, it's hers, and you can tell because it has this giant, oops, I can't point at this giant E that's in there, which is actually from my own room. And then the doll on the right is Lila, and she is American Girl number 58, and she is adopted, and she is the sister of Marley and Eden. So I actually had Lila long before I had Eden, so Eden is the newest addition to the family, and now there are 3 sisters, so I was really excited to be able to put this bedroom together for the 2 of them. I'm going to start with Eden's half of the room because it's the most well lit, and then we'll get into kind of the confusion of doing Lila's half of the room. So Eden's bed is this bed, and it was the first American Girl doll bed I ever had when I got my first and second doll. It's a trundle bed, and it's like, I think it was called the Curly Q Day bed, and I believe it's from like 2008 or 2009 maybe. So it's an older American Girl bed, and the bedspread that's on it is the one that came with it. It has little butterflies on it. So Eden's half of the room is kind of like blue and purple shades, just pulling those shades from the bed. So she has her suitcase over here, and I have their school bags. You can't see them very well in the shot right now. All of the pictures on her wall are from Rookie magazine, which is an old magazine that you used to be able to get. It's out of print now, but I tore those from that, and they're from like craft projects, but I thought that they coordinated really well with Eden's bedding. In the middle of the room we have Sprocket. Sprocket is actually my doll Nikki's dog, but since she doesn't have a room in the house, he stays in here with the Ellis family's 2 dogs, which are Meatloaf and Honey. So then in the middle of the room I have this little chair which actually folds out into a staircase shelf, but I got it at an antique sale a long time ago. There's another window that I made just the same way I made the ones on the top floor. This little shelf with the little trinkets on it came from Goodwill, and it just has random little things, little calico critters and rocks and sunglasses. Little things that I've collected, so it's kind of like a woodsy theme because it used to be in another doll's room that I don't have in the house anymore. It used to be in Riley's room, so it still has all of her little trinkets on it because I didn't want to redo it for their room and then put it back when Riley eventually gets a room again. So in the middle there is a cello with a music stand in front of it. It's kind of hard to see. None of the dolls in this room actually play the cello, but it's just in there. Maybe their friend brought it over for practice or something, but I didn't want to just like shove it in storage, so it's in this room. This little table with the owls on it is actually just a little storage bin, and all of the pictures on the wall again are just printed off from Pinterest or whatever, and sadly I don't know like who the artists are on all of them or anything, because I printed them off from Pinterest, and Pinterest is really bad at like sourcing their things. Like they're dead links when you click on it to find the artist, but I do have a Pinterest board that has all of these illustrations on it that I can link down below if I remember. I forgot to show the floor of this room. It's just contact paper. It's a like warm wood tone, while the top floor was kind of a like cooler barnwood kind of contact paper. Again, I think I just got it at Menards and it was like $5 for a roll, and I have a ton left on the roll, so I can do more floors for different sets or whatever later. So the rug on this side is actually a locker rug from when I was in middle school, and then this rug came from a garage sale. Okay, so this is Lila's half of the room, and it's kind of dark, and I apologize for that, but there's nothing I can really do to fix it at the moment. This bed is a bed that I always have in the house. It's from the camp bunk beds that I got when I was in 2nd grade, so I don't know what year that was, but this bed actually is supposed to have a bed on the bottom. It's supposed to be a bunk bed, but I unscrewed that for Lila's room so that she could make it a loft bed instead, and she has the little dresser under it that matches the Curly Q Day bed. But since I used the stool for that for the piano on the floor above, I used this little bench that I got at a garage sale for Lila's vanity. Finally, on this half of the room, you can't see it very well back here, but there is a little Dollar Tree set of drawers that I have some random hair accessories in. And then Lila has this bin here, which has a bunch of Littlest Pet Shops and little Funko Pop keychains and little My Little Ponies in it. So that's just kind of my little doll toy bin. And then there's a bunch of little bags over here in the corner. On the end of her bed she has hanging a camera, actually 2 cameras, and a compass and a whistle, and there's a little map of Hogwarts taped here. So those are all of her items, and I think that's all I have for this room. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I know I didn't go into super huge detail on every single item that's in the rooms, but I didn't want to make this video crazy long because I know it's going to be pretty long already. So if you have any questions about anything, please leave me a comment down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you and let you know where I got a certain item if you're interested in getting it for your own dolls or whatever. Do be aware though that a lot of my items are just from like garage sales, and the thrift store, so if I can't tell you exactly, I'm sorry about that, but I will do my best. If you want to see more from me, you can follow me on Instagram. Again, it's just at Worldwide Dolls, and it's linked down below. I also have a doll blog that I post on kind of infrequently, but it does have all of my doll biographies that tell all about each one of them on that blog if you're interested in reading, and that is always linked down below as well. So I think that's all I have for today's video. If you have any special video requests, leave them down below and I will get back to you and try to do some of them. I'm starting school again soon, so I'm not sure how often I'll be able to upload videos, and my Wi-Fi is awful, so it takes me forever to upload. But I always read your comments, and I love seeing you guys over on my Instagram. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!